saw the email blast or you looked at the screen while you were waiting to get connected on Facebook Live, it's take a SOULfie, not take a selfie. It's take a SOULfie. Yeah. You know, last week I started talking about this quote from Einstein. It actually came out of the book, and I'll talk to you in a minute about that. The book that I was covering last week. And there was an Einstein quote, and it's talked about how we are all part of the whole, and that when we experience ourselves as sometimes separate from the rest, that separateness is an optical delusion of our consciousness. Excuse me. Hold on. I don't like to talk about separateness. I'll repeat that. So he talked about how we are all part of the whole, and that when we experience ourselves as something separate from the rest, that separateness is an optical delusion of our consciousness. The purpose of true religion is to free ourselves from the delusion that we are separate. And when we recognize we are all a part of the whole, we will have peace of mind. When we recognize we are all part of the whole, we will have peace of mind. Is that what unity has been saying for 130 years? When we recognize that we are all part of the whole, we will have peace of mind. You know, I'm going to ask Sandy or Kathy Mountain, whoever's running the screen, if we can put that picture that I asked for up on the screen. This is a picture that I talked about last week, and we were not able to show it, but I believe we might be able to get it up here. And it is the picture of the soul and body. It's titled The Soul and Body. And let's see if we're able to bring that up. If not, okay, it was the figure that this 10-year-old boy that was in the concentration camps at Auschwitz. And he drew this picture of a man. There it is. It's coming up. Of the man inside the man. Can you see it there? That's the actual picture in the museum of this 10-year-old boy, what he drew from the concentration camp at age 10. And at age 11, this little boy was murdered in the concentration camp. But I want you to look at the identical man inside the larger man. Thank you, Kathy and Sandy, for getting that picture up on the screen. I appreciate that. I wanted you to see it because I talked about it last week. And this picture depicts a tiny man within the larger man. This picture to me actually could have been titled, The Soul is the Me Within the Me. We all have the me inside the me. Does that make sense? I hope that this picture helps it to make sense, that statement. So today I'm continuing to base my talk on the Einstein and the Rabbi book, because I am just finding this fascinating. And this is a book by Naomi Levy. And she was one of the first graduating, I told this last week, one of the first women to graduate and hold the title of a rabbi. And it's got a wealth of information in here. And in this book, excuse me, and I don't know if we're able to take the picture off the screen, if it's still on your screen. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the book that we're talking about. Okay. Einstein and the Rabbi by Naomi Levy. Okay. And she talks about taking a SOULfie. So her title, my title, actually came from the title of chapter 4 out of her book called Take a SOULfie. And it really caught my attention. And I want to read to you out of this, page 29. And she talks about her and quite a bunch of rabbis went to Israel or to Palestine. And they were all walking around in all of everything, the landscape. And all the rabbis she noticed were doing this. Taking selfies. And she was wondering, what is this about selfies? And she says that we call the picture that we snap of ourselves a selfie, but it doesn't really capture the self at all. It doesn't take in our interior world. It doesn't capture your mind, your soul, your longings, your feelings, your prayer. A selfie is all surface. She goes on to say, selfies tend to exaggerate the amount of fun we're having. And she even shared a part of this with her rabbi group, and I want to tell you, I want to, it doesn't, I want to read that last sentence again, because that is key. Selfies tend to exaggerate the amount of fun we're having. And I got to thinking about numerous times when I was with my daughter Christy at her house, and the kids, Mia age 8 and Miles age 6, were fighting over something. They're constantly fighting over toys and attention, etc. And Christy would, right in the middle of that, yell, "Come on, everybody, get together and let's take a selfie," right? And everybody runs, everybody smiles. And then as soon as the selfie's done, they're back at it again. The kids are. And I thought, everyone in that selfie looked happy. Nobody looking at that on Facebook has a clue what was going on 1 minute before that selfie. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, we've all been there, Selfies are, selfies are a distortion of reality. Okay, this is just a little tidbit here. I asked Suri for a joke to post here on the screen. And you know what she did? She turned on, now wait a minute. I asked Suri to share on this screen a joke about selfies. What did she do? She turned on my selfie camera. What? Selfies are a distortion of reality. Sometimes we can be so busy taking selfies that we could be missing certain blessings that can only be found by digging deep. I'm not talking about the camera, people. I'm talking about digging deeper. Michael and I found this show called Ted Lasso, and it's on Apple TV, I think is what that's called. And it's one season, and it probably has 9 episodes. And it ended up being a show that it was one of those, if any of you have, in this COVID time, we all seem to have a lot of time to watch shows. So episode 1, and then next thing we know, we're on episode 2, episode 3, and it's like, we got to get to bed. It's one of those where you don't want to put it down. And I want to just tell you about Ted Lasso. He is a football coach here in the United States, and he gets asked to come to England to coach a professional soccer team. Now, in England, they call soccer football. And so I may have talked about this a little bit a week or so ago, but I want to take it into the context of this talk today, because Ted Lasso he comes to England and he's coaching a professional soccer team that he has no idea about soccer. But talk about SOULfie type personalities in the locker room. His players it's full of SOULfie mentality. Ted Lasso is one of these people you would call an eternal optimist. He keeps seeing the glass half full while he's surrounded by glass half empty mentality of the players, of the soccer players. And watching how Ted Lasso keeps trying to move them from a SOULfie mentality to a SOULfie mentality. Now, you're not going to get this in the show, but hearing this talk today, and if you watched it, you would see it, how important and life-changing it can be when we spend more time taking SOULfies. In Einstein in the Rabbi, Naomi says, our challenge in life is to learn how to take a SOULfie. A SOULfie is to go deeper, to cut through our daily distractions and get to know our own true essence. I'm going to repeat that. A SOULfie is to go deeper, to cut through our daily distractions and get to know our own true essence. Taking a SOULfie is to get to the place where you can rise above the narrow mind. We talked about that last week. And perceive the greater whole that unites all of creation. That's the expanded, expansive mind. That's what we talk about in Unity every single week for years and years, about the expanded mind, the expanded consciousness. So what is the soul? What is the soul? Have any of you ever really asked that of yourselves? What is the soul? We talk about it a lot. We've heard about it a lot for many of us in our childhood religion classes. There's lots of talks about the soul, but I really like this definition she uses from the book. The soul is a mirror of God within us. The soul is a mirror of God within us. Think about that a minute. I want to read to you a story that she shares in here. I've heard it several times in many different fashions, but I'm going to read it the way she talks about it. When God was creating the world, God shared a secret with the angels. Human beings will be created in the image of God. Well, the angels were outraged by that. What? Why should humans be trusted with such a precious gift when they're nothing but a bunch of flawed mortals? Surely if humans find out their true power, they will abuse it. If humans discover that they're created in God's image, they will learn to surpass us. So the angels got together and they decided to steal God's image. Now, that divine image was in the angels' hands, and they needed to pick a place where they could hide it so that no human being would ever find it. So they held a meeting and they brainstormed, and the angel Gabriel suggested that they hide God's image at the top of a highest mountain. And the other angels objected, no, because one day, the humans will climb that mountain and they will find it. Well, the angel Michael said, well, then let's put it at the bottom of the sea. No, the other angels exclaimed, humans will find a way to dive at the bottom of the sea and they'll find it there. Only by one, they kept suggesting everything and all the ideas got shot down until the angel Uriel, the wisest angel of all, said, I know a place where man will never look for it. So the angels hid the precious, holy image of God deep within the human soul. And to this day, God's image lies hidden in the very place we least likely search for it. Lying there, it is farther away from you than you can ever imagine. Lying there, it is closer to you than you will ever know. What if the soul is a mirror of God within us? It outlasts the body just like it outlasts the world. The soul sees, but it is not seen. Oh, I think about how people, when they make their transition, and I don't know about you, but I'll bet there's many of you that have had loved ones make their transition and you still feel their presence. There's not a funeral I don't do where I talk about the soul is eternal and that it never, ever leaves. And I can look at several of you on the screen here and see you nodding your heads because you are still experiencing that, of feeling the soul of your loved one's presence. So the soul is eternal. And why is it that it takes in death for us to finally find the soul's purpose when it's been hidden inside all the time? What is it that we need to do to be able to take more SOULfie time? It's so easy to be distracted by things of this world, isn't it? I know a couple of my friends, because I'm now 66, so a lot of my girlfriends are retired, and they are saying the same thing that many of you retired people that have been retired for years say. I don't know how I get anything done when I was working because I'm so busy. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what is it? Are we all addicted to being busy? Is there some kind of safety in this being busy? Because we as human beings, most of us are very afraid of going to our heart. And that's why unity is not for everybody. Because unity is going to encourage you to go to your heart center, because that is where the truth lies, and the feeling center lies within your heart. And the feeling center in your heart is the vibration that broadcasts out into the world. And that is why we talk about this each week, about the power within you and paying attention to what you're broadcasting out there from this feeling heart center. That is not for everybody. So I see you all on this screen, and I want to commend you because you are willing to dig deeper. As Naomi says in this book, getting to the SOULfie is digging deeper into the heart center and cracking open those barriers that we think keep us safe. And even those barriers of busy, we think keep us safe. Think about what has been keeping you this week from spending more time in quiet, spending more time just sitting and watching the birds out your window. What's been keeping you from that? I look at a couple of you on this screen, and I know that you are diehards and you are bundling up and getting your butt out there in nature and taking walks and just dropping this to-do list that has how many things on it every single day. Have you thought about putting on your to-do list, take time for your SOULfie? Take more time to dig deeper into your soul, because that is where that perfect image and likeness of God resides. How much attention are we paying to it? I don't know. You know, some of the things I was thinking, my little granddaughter, Mia, and yeah, someday when she gets older, I'm not going to be allowed to talk about her, but she's only 8, so I can still talk about her. And she's going to go, you know, when she gets to be 13, Grandma, please quit talking about me at church. But I would call her an anxious child. She's what appears to me to be empathic. And I think a lot of kids are empathic. And then it gets shut down as they get older. And by that, I mean she feels other people's feelings. And it doesn't just mean kids. She feels adults' feelings in the room. And I think part of her anxiousness is not about doing so well in school as all it takes is a kid on the playground picking on another kid, and her heart goes to this kid that just got picked on. And then she brings it home after school. And she can't even express to her mom and dad what it is, but she appears now anxious, nervous, can't sleep. She's just wound up. And they keep thinking, what's happening? Is there a test? Are you having a test tomorrow? Is that why you're anxious? And almost every time it ends up being that she has picked up the emotion of somebody at school that's been hurt, or even an adult in the room that's been hurt. And I think about how many of us can relate to that, and how quickly us adults will shut our heart down because it's too painful to take that on. And I speak to you who are aware that you are empathic. I believe we all have the ability to be empathic, but I also know that many of us are like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, where we have shut our hearts down and we have built this armor to protect ourselves so that nobody can hurt us, and we shut the empathy side of us down. We can have sympathy, but oh, please don't ask me to have empathy, because then that means I might have to feel what you're feeling. So I say to you, people who are willing to honor that you are an empathic, that it is so important for you to spend time taking a SOULfie, spending time being quiet. That's how we deal with the anxious mind. That's how we deal with the frustrated, angry, resentful mind. Many of you are hurting today. Maybe I should put several of you that I'm seeing on this screen I know are hurting today. And how can you deal with that? In unity, we say to go within, to go to headquarters and find that peace, be still, and know the truth. Know the truth. That secret was hidden inside you all the while. Just like the Wizard of Oz, you always had it within you. You just didn't see it for yourself. You are a light. You know, Naomi finishes part of this. She says to one of the people that she's counseling, she says, the more you access the soul, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you love. The more you love, the more you give. And the more you give, the more you live. Isn't that the truth? I love that. Give your soul love and nourishment, and it will find you whispering secrets of the oneness. It will teach you and guide you and sing to you and remind you that the blessings you seek are closer than you know. The blessings that you seek are closer than you know. Look at this. I don't know if you can see each other, but when we open to fellowship, I want you to just see all these beautiful, empathic souls, whether you admit it or not. I'm encouraging you this week to open your heart center just a little more, to spend time digging a little deeper. And you can't do that with all the distractions around you. It's time to shut the noise off, shut the TV off, turn your phone off, and go within. Let those distractions go. Trust me, as soon as you get done, they'll all be there waiting for you. Isn't that how it works? But you'll handle it a lot better. You'll handle it so much better when you let yourself notch out time. Put it on your calendar. You know, many of us use this little calendar on our phone, right? Does anybody have time for meditation on their calendar? I doubt if any, maybe one or two, maybe have this on their calendar. Because we put everything else on there, don't we? Because it's so important. We can't forget it. What if we miss that doctor's appointment? What if I miss that lunch appointment? How much emphasis do we say on, what if I miss my meditation today? Oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. How's that working for us? We find ourselves stressed and anxious again, don't we? Frustrated, angry at the situation. That wasn't fair. Those people don't get me. Blah, blah, blah. It's time. Now is the time. Just try taking your cell phone out and putting you on your calendar. Just try it this week. Just try it. Even set an alert so a little alarm goes off 15 minutes before so you can get yourself prepared to just take 10 minutes. The longer, the better. Just spend time with yourself. I love you all, and I'm so grateful. And I want to give us the personal affirmation that you can hold on to for this week. So we'll get it up there on the screen for you. Can you really affirm this with me this week? I am choosing to follow my soul on its journey. I trust it will lead me to the path of peace. Let's say that 2 more times. I am choosing to follow my soul on its journey. I trust it will lead me on the path of peace. Now, if you can really say it with meaning, if you really want to choose this, then really say it. I am choosing to follow my soul on its journey. I trust it will lead me on the path of peace. Yes, it will if we take time to do that. So with that, I say namaste. Namaste means the Christ presence in me truly sees and honors that Christ presence in every single one of you. Namaste.